Evening. Welcome to Godiva Speakers. I'm James Masingela, also known as James M, Vice President of Public Relations, VP of PR, that stands for. For those who don't know, it's a role that we have in all club committees, including ours. And you're meeting me today. I'm with Pratik. Today we're going to have a chat. We're here sitting down a bit before the meeting, and we're just going to go into some of his Toastmasters journey, how he started, how it's been for him, what he's gained from taking part in Toastmasters as actively as he has. So, again, with Pratik here, and I'm going to go through a number of questions, and this is for you out there, so you can learn what Toastmasters is and what you can get out of it. So, my first question. Greetings to you, Pratik, obviously, first thing.
Greetings to you as well, James. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. I'm just going to go into my first question, which is, can you tell us and tell the audience what made you join Toastmasters, and how did you hear about Toastmasters at first?
So, the main reason that I joined Toastmasters was to get better at job interviews.
Okay.
Because back in 2020, I was just finishing my degree and I was looking for a job. I was applying to a lot of places and I got a few interviews lined up.
Yeah.
But what I found was that most of the interviews that I had,
Right.
I failed. And the reason for that was because of my interviewing skills,
Okay.
my communication skills.
Right.
What I realized was that I was just very nervous in the interviews because the interviews feel very intimidating, right? Like,
Yeah.
it feels like a highly pressurized environment. It feels
Of
like
course.
there's a lot of stake there.
Of course.
And that was causing me to appear nervous.
Right.
And it was giving me a hard time because I couldn't really articulate my thoughts properly. I couldn't really say what I wanted to say properly.
Yeah.
So for these reasons, I decided that I have to work on these soft skills.
I see.
Like these communication skills,
Yeah.
presentation skills, because what I realized was I knew I had the skills to do the job.
Right.
The only thing that was stopping me from getting those offers
Yeah.
was my soft skills. So
Got
that's
you.
when I decided to work on my communication skills.
Right.
So I made that decision, but I did not know that there's a thing such as Toastmasters.
So where did you learn about Toastmasters? How did you come across it? Did someone tell you when you were at that crossroads, when you wanted to develop your confidence for job interviews? What came into your awareness that Toastmasters existed?
Yeah, I kind of stumbled into it really.
Right.
Because I used to, and still do, listen to a lot of podcasts.
Okay.
And I was listening to this particular podcast where these two guys were talking.
Right.
And just in the middle of the conversation, they started talking about Toastmasters and how it had really...
What is the name of this podcast, by the way?
So it's a Nepalese podcast.
Okay.
And it's called Doers Nepal.
All right. Okay.
And what the host does is he basically brings like entrepreneurs and business people and just, it's kind of like an educational podcast.
Okay.
So I used to, and still do listen to that a lot.
So that's how you learned about Toastmasters. It wasn't,
Yes.
say, even really word of mouth or someone in the workplace who told you.
No,
Yeah, that's how you.
it was through the internet, through YouTube.
Wow. So now, as you're mentioning, how you became aware of Toastmasters through the podcast. I want to know, what was it like for you when you started off? So what was going through your mind? Because obviously now, you've attended a lot of meetings, obviously, but there was a time, I'm sure, when so much that goes on in a meeting was very new to you. So how was it when you started in your early days? What was going through your mind?
Yes, it was completely new to me.
Right.
I had never been to a place like this before,
Yeah.
to like a public speaking club, basically, right?
Right.
So it was very intimidating at first, as I still remember the first day when I came into the club.
Yeah.
And then just that moment being outside the door, just deciding whether I should go in or not, because it was very scary to me.
Yeah, of course.
I didn't know what to expect.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know what goes on inside
Right.
the club. So
Yeah.
it was very intimidating. But I decided that I had to go in because I had
Yeah.
no other choice, right?
Yeah. So obviously you then persisted because you could see, I guess, how confident people can be in Toastmasters, and you wanted that confidence so that you could then, when you're in an interview, you can come across
Yeah.
very, very well. So although it was intimidating for you, you persevered through that.
Yes.
Would you say?
Yes, I just knew that I had to persevere
Right.
because it was either that or it was just you're never getting better at interviews, right? So
Right.
those were the two choices that I had.
Right.
So I just had to go walk through that door
Yeah.
into the club.
Okay, so now this brings me into my next question. As you've covered that, is how has the journey been, and how long have you been a member? What has made you stay and continue attending, and even volunteering? Because you, in addition to attending meetings, delivering speeches, you're a mentoring manager, right, in the club. So what has made you, invest all of that energy?
So I think because
And I say that because attending and delivering speeches alone for a period of time and then getting feedback for that and then working on that feedback will improve you with the confidence. But why have you then made that extra step so you can help other people with their confidence and gain other abilities?
Yep. So once I started coming to the meetings regularly,
Right.
like I kind of got hooked on it because
Yeah.
it
Plus,
improved.
encouraging environment as well, isn't it?
Yes. It's a very safe environment.
Yeah.
Like everyone's here because they want to improve the skills for themselves and they want others to improve the same skills as well, right? So
Right.
it's like a group of very supportive, like-minded individuals.
Yeah.
And yes, it's a very safe environment. Basically,
Yeah.
I almost view it like a gym.
Right.
You basically come here, do your sets, right? Do your reps,
Yeah.
finish your workout, go home, and then gradually you're going to get stronger.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's how I view it. And I think that's why I still am a member at this club as well.
Right.
Because I do want to keep improving my communication skills, presentation, like soft skills in general.
Yeah.
And I think
I think it's also worth relaying to people that it's not just because a lot of people, which is obviously true, they perceive Toastmasters, yes, I'm going to be more confident public speaker, right? But there's obviously things like listening skills, there's time and evaluation skills, more importantly. So I'd imagine there's other things that you've been enlightened about as you've taken part more, and maybe that's what's made you want to, become a mentor manager as you are. Would you say that sort of, because I just want to relay for people that there's things that are known about Toastmasters in terms of benefits, but when you actually take part a lot, there's other things that you discover as well,
Yes.
At least that's from my experience. So I just wanted you to,
that's the tagline of Toastmasters as well, right? The tagline of Toastmasters is where leaders are made.
Right.
So, like you said, there is two aspects to it. There is that public speaking, developing your presentation, communication skills, that side to it, and also the leadership skills that you can develop. And that's through, like, getting involved with the committee, helping out to run the meetings, organizing speech competitions, and yes, and mentoring. I got involved in that in mentoring as a mentor manager.
Yeah.
Because I've had a few mentors in my life who have helped me massively.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that having a mentor, you just accelerate your growth.
Right.
You get to your goal more quickly, right? And then
Got you.
that's what I want to establish in the culture as well, in the culture of this club. I want to create a culture where everyone has a mentor.
Yeah.
And people mentor the newcomers as well.
Obviously, of course.
So that there's like this positive feedback loop that everyone can benefit off of.
Right, that's very positive. I think we've gone through a lot for people to see, hear, and learn, the journey of an actual member, and which now leads me to what I would say is my last question, which is, it touches on some of the things you've gone into, but I just want to maybe get quite precise in terms of what you've gotten out of it, and ways that you've developed personally, socially, and professionally. So, for instance, originally your plan was to be more confident for interviews. So has that dramatically changed, for one, or are there other things like socially? Have you become more confident? Are you more? What are some of like the real tangibles? So for instance, me, I'm the newer member than you, right? In terms of my regular commitment, but I've known about Toastmasters for some time. But you've been a year strong, so I'm sure after 6 months, there's probably things that have. So what are those? Because I think that's the essential thing that people watching this would like to know is, okay, I join, but why am I joining in terms of what are the tangibles of me investing my time, my spare time in Toastmasters? Could you sort of like pinpoint on that or punch on that really? So also we can get, some of you watching this can visit, become members like us, as well. So if you can,
so some tangible.
Yeah, if you could really pinpoint quite powerfully or punch, and as honest as you can as well. Obviously, everybody's journey is different, but I'm sure that's going to be like the critical seller almost, or what will be the persuasion point is, okay, what are the tangibles that come from this for me?
So there's a lot to list out, right? But one tangible example that I can give is just getting better at presentations at work.
Right.
Because, like, professionally, you do a lot of presentations. If you work in like an office environment, or I think like most jobs really.
Yeah.
You have to do a lot of presentations to your colleagues, to your bosses,
Right.
To the owners of the company or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So
You got a lot of practice time, right?
yes, because I've got a lot of practice in the meeting.
That's the Toastmasters cheat code.
Yeah,
You can learn from, especially if you don't tell people. You can go 6 months. Maybe I don't know. There might be a presentation required to do at work. People don't know. Your colleagues don't know that you're a Toastmasters member 6 months ago, and everyone's preparing maybe for this presentation. They don't know. Twice a month minimum. That's if you're not just a member of at least if you're a member of one club, it's twice a month, right?
Yes.
But yeah, you're getting obviously that practice time, right?
Exactly, yeah. Because we get practice every 2 weeks.
Yeah. And evaluations.
Yeah. And that, like anytime there's a chance, there's an opportunity to do a presentation at work.
Right.
I volunteer, like
Right.
it's not like a,
easily, right?
yeah, like, and I think prior to joining Toastmasters, I don't think I would have done that. Like I would have volunteered myself to do the presentation. So that's one tangible benefit that has had. But there's countless others.
Yeah.
Such as like just having like a growth mindset.
Right.
Like I think Toastmasters develops a mindset in you that basically every thing that you do, every step that you take, you use it as a learning opportunity.
Of course,
so no thing is wasted really.
Right.
Every step is a learning opportunity, and then you're gonna come back stronger next time by incorporating that feedback. So yeah, developing that positive mindset as well.
Awesome. Okay, so we're just gonna bring it obviously to a close. Very much appreciation, Pratik. This has obviously been our first in a series of conversations you're going to see from Godiva speakers. Just going to bring it to a close. We've shown you the benefit that's been to a member, and then hopefully you becoming becoming a member, you can also gain some of those benefits in your professional life and more as well. So that's all I've got for you. And just to remind you, for those watching, it's the first and third Tuesday of every month that we meet at the Cherry Tree Social Club. You're welcome to come as a guest. And I'm James M. We've got
Pratik.
Yep, and there's going to be more of these conversations uploaded for you to see. If you become a member, you could be in this seat as well. And so I'm just going to leave you on that note. And I have a slogan from one of my speeches: go, grow, and glow. So, thank you, fellow Toastmasters, spoken guests.